All yours. So Ryan is a real estate attorney. I've used Ryan often. So I wanted him to come over, talk a little bit about his service, how long he's been in the business, and just go over exactly what a real estate attorney does in the real estate transaction. So take it away, Ryan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Walsh. Thank you, Rosa, for allowing me to participate today. A great panel of speakers. So we got to work with Bridget, Sean, a couple others, great people. So you have a good panel. Yes, I'm a real estate attorney here in Queens. Our firm represents buyers, sellers, and lenders throughout New York and New Jersey. And I'm actually on the board of NHS of Queens, very good organization. They work closely with HPD and Sony May. Sony May is a great organization if you're going to get a Sony May loan. Excellent, excellent. We work with a lot of first-time home buyers that get Sony May loans, which is really great. So what is the role of the buyer's attorney? Good question. I don't know either. No. Really very simple. If you're going to go into a transaction to buy a home, all parties have an attorney. Seller has an attorney, buyer has an attorney, lender has an attorney. If you're buying a co-op, even the co-op has an attorney, right? So you really want to hire a real estate attorney, not just a personal injury attorney that helped out your family and is going to do you a favor. You really want to go with a real estate attorney. You really want to get the referral through Rosa or someone like NHS. If you're getting a grant, you definitely want to go through a lender, an attorney that understands the grant products because they are different than going through just a regular loan and not having these HPD or AHC or other products, right? Sony May has a DPAL, a down payment assistance loan product as well that you can stack. So there's various mechanisms and how to get those monies at the closing. So it's good to go with an attorney that's familiar with that process. But the reality is if you're going to go with a real estate, if you're going to hire an attorney, you want a real estate attorney. You want that real estate attorney to give you a simple one-page retainer so you know what the fee is. You want that fee to be a flat rate. And you want to make sure that the attorney's there during the course of the transaction. As a first-time home buyer, you're going to have a million questions. So if your attorney works from 9 to 5, you're probably going to lose your mind. And even though we work Monday through Sunday, people still lose their mind, right? Because it's very stressful, right? It's the biggest purchase you're ever going to make. So you want to be aware of that. But the true role of the buyer's attorney in the real estate process is to protect your deposit, right? Our job really is to try to make as many changes to the contract as possible so that in the event something goes wrong, you don't lose your down payment. It's very important to speak to Rosa and Sean before you make that offer as to how much you want to put down when you sign the contract of sale, right? Very important. And, Rosa had asked me about, why do you have to sign a contract, right? Well, you have to sign a contract to bind the parties. The buyer has to sign, the seller has to sign, and you have to put down money when you actually sign the contract. That's your consideration. That's what's going to bind you. That's your liability if something were to go wrong. And remember, if you are getting an HPD grant, right, you're getting one of these forgivable loans, those monies comes at the closing. So you have to have money when you sign the contract. If you're getting money out of your 401k, you still have to have money when you sign the contract. So make sure you have a conversation with Rosa so she can present the offer properly. We have so many buyers that say, yes, we're going to put down X amount, but we're getting it from our 401k. Okay, how much do you have now? What? And I'm like, what? So that becomes the issue. You want to make sure that you have that conversation with Rosa so you know how much you're going to put down in total, but how much you're going to actually put down when you sign. What do you have available? That's very important, okay? So really the role of the buyer's attorney is to protect your deposit. We do it through the terms of the contract. Most contracts, whether it's a home, condo, or co-op, are standard, and there are riders to the contract to modify them. Maybe the seller needs 5 days to stay in the property after the closing. It's called the post-possession. We have one today that the seller wants to stay 90 days after the closing, right? Because they're buying something and they need time, right? Is signing necessary to the contract? Sure, because if you don't sign and the seller doesn't sign, the seller can sell it to me for more money a week later. And like Rosa said, in Long Island, the properties are very hot. So you have 100 people waiting outside to buy one house. So you really want to sign the contract, have the seller sign, and the deposit clear, and that's when you will be in contract. This way the seller cannot try to sell the property to somebody else, which we had last week. We had a transaction where the buyer waited 1 year for the seller to build a house in Long Island. And when we were ready to close, the seller said, no, we want to cancel. We want to sell it for more money to somebody else. We said, well, no, the contract signed, we performed, and we're going to sue you for the property. And then he reneged and went back and he actually sold the property to our client last week. So if you don't sign the contract, there's nothing to bind the seller, right, to sell it to you. So you really need that. Okay. How much do we charge? I don't want to tell you. No. It's really an average of roughly $1,500. Through Rosa, we always do a reduced rate to $1,200 for all of our first-time home buyers. But it also depends on if you're buying a $60,000 co-op, maybe we'll go a little less. If you're buying a $10 million property, maybe a little bit more, right? But on average, about $1,500. And again, through Rosa, we always give a discount for all of her clients because we appreciate her working with us. So just to recap, you definitely want to get a real estate attorney. You want that attorney to give you a simple one-page retainer so you know what the fee is, so it doesn't change on the day of the closing. You want it to be a flat rate, right? Because God forbid, if they do it by the hour, they're going to own your home, right? And the job of the buyer's attorney is really to protect your deposit. So if something were to go wrong, you don't lose it. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, Rosa. Thank you for having me talk for a few minutes, and I'll stay on if you guys have any questions thereafter.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Really, really appreciate you going over here and also giving everyone a discount. Really, really grateful for that. And also giving us some of those stories that are really important for people to understand why it's so important to sign a contract. Because like you said, things can happen in the midst of it, and having you to protect them is the key. I have clients where they actually worked with an attorney that was charging them per hour, and it just ended up being a lot of money. So make sure you hire the right real estate attorney.